pour beer every place I could if I had beer. I'd stash legal drugs that weren't even mine in random places just to make everyone seem suspicious. Just because it's funny.
Wow. Going along with that, do you think the rock star image is more about their actions rather than their music these days?
It is rather more about their actions. But in the last, in the last about 6 years, there's been a huge sprout and more focus on the actual emotional aspect of it. You see bands now wear your average kind of clothes, and people actually mention their lyrics instead of just what they do. You don't see many rock stars wearing studded wristbands, puffed up hair, and leopard skin jeans. Those have been replaced by skinny jeans, high top Converse, and tattoos. Well, more.
You kind of notice, like, you see celebrities, quote unquote, like movie stars, actresses and actors in the tabloids more than you see rock stars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's because rock stars, I'm calling them rock stars, musicians, are more about what they're doing for their, like, music, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know about you, but I'll go through a magazine and I won't see, like,
It's because
some musician, photographed getting out of a car is what's Tuesday.
they're not into making the money, getting the money made. If you take a picture of Brad Pitt, you're gonna make money. Take a picture of a rock star, you're not gonna make money. It's just they're not focused on the money as much. They're usually out touring most of the time nowadays anyway. Just non-stop touring for 2 years at a time.
Right.
And they go in a studio for 6 months. They essentially live in the studio, if not near it.
Touring, something they have to get used to, obviously. Are you gonna be excited to tour?
I am. I've watched YouTube videos of my favorite bands on a tour bus, just having fun, and it made me realize how much I want that. Because all I want to do at this point is get out. It sounds so cliched for a teenager, but in actuality, I have a plan. There's nothing here in this little bitty town we call J-Maine. And that sounds really cliche right now, but I guess you're just gonna have to live it to experience it. Anywhere will be too small for anyone my age, no matter where you lived. Just need something new.
Coming from, like, a J, obviously we don't get much publicity here at all. No one comes to Maine even, really.
Especially since I'm from California in the first place.
Oh, you can say you're from California instead of Maine. There. I love you.
By the way,
No.
I'm from California. Like, for reals, I'm not lying to you.
But what's your plan to get big? Because
Honestly don't know. I want to go to college because I want that experience, but at the same time, I don't want to not make it and end up living in one of these
make sure you
small
speak into the camera.
apartments that these people here have. I just can't take that. It's not enough. Call me greedy, but it's not enough. I'm gonna work for what I want, and I'm gonna get it, and I'm going to get it. There's no other mindset. I'm going to make it. It's all there is to it.
You obviously don't have a band right now, but are you gonna, like, hopefully you get a band? I don't think you're gonna make it that far just by yourself. Well, you could, but you know what I mean. You obviously need someone to help you play on
Well,
stage.
I like the feeling of the band. I like the bonding.
It's
I
the
like
family, right?
Yeah,
The
it's the
aspect.
friendship of it. It's not just being solo. It would all go to my head. But if I was in a band of 4 guys, even if I was a singer, I would be level-headed all the time. It's a team effort, and being by yourself just isn't the same. People do appreciate you, and they love your playing, but it's not the same when you realize you're alone in it. Because music is a creative effort. When you hear other styles mixed together and form something beautiful, it's exactly what it is. It's just beauty. You have to be a musician to understand what I'm talking about in a sense, but it's just how it feels combining together skills and soul.
I always love just watching the videos of them hanging out because they're just so close as a band.
A lot of bands don't make it because they're not that good friends. And the ones that are, they're gonna go far. And until, unfortunately, in a couple of cases, some of the closest members have died in certain bands, which isn't very often.
Yeah, speaking of that, it seems like musicians' bands have really bad luck on planes. It's
Yeah.
just like a curse or something. It's,
Musicians have bad luck with alcohol, heroin, planes, and shotguns.
shotguns go more along with the whole.
Well,
rap.
Kurt Cobain.
Okay, yeah, he was drunk.
He wasn't. Well, he had so much heroin in his veins he couldn't pull the trigger. So supposedly Courtney Love killed him, and she's not that good of a musician in the first place.
I hate her. She's
Me
like
too.
looks horrible. Like she never even was good looking to begin with. Just saying. And they have a kid.
Her kid's actually pretty. It's a she.
It's a she. What's your favorite to play, acoustic or electric?
It
Or
all
let me
depends.
like, what's your favorite instrument to play? Like, 'cause you play drums too, and you.
Oh, my favorite instrument by far is gotta be guitar, but I like singing just as much along. Like, I can play guitar alone, but I can't sing alone unless I'm singing to a recording. It's just not the same. But playing together, it's fun. It's what I want to do. I don't want to be lead guitarist like Eddie Van Halen. Not a chance. I want to be a fun man.
Well, I saw you perform, and definitely have enough energy up on stage. A lot. You could, yeah. So, you're all good in that area. But speaking of going along with that, part of being a musician is connecting with the crowd, and that's very good.
Despite whatever Mrs. Nelson tells me about disappointing controlling myself, you have to connect to the crowd. Make a joke. Crack a laugh. Ask her to do some simple math for you. Act like you're tired. Use sarcasm. People love sarcasm. They want a good show. They want to know that they
Seems
can
like the more
relax.
it seems like the more they make an ass of themselves, the more people like them.
Exactly. Make an absolute fool of yourself live. People, I mean, don't mess up, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
play dumb and make people know you're playing dumb in a sense, and they'll relax. They'll enjoy themselves. They'll connect. You can't be as hard as she says, because she's honestly, she's wrong, and she doesn't have the feeling.
This way.
She does not have the feeling. It's about skill and concentration, but without those two, it's simply not music. Even classical musicians had feeling. Beethoven couldn't hear. He had the feeling. That's what got him where he was today in history.
So where do you want to go with your music? Like, you want to get big, obviously, but what crowd do you want to draw in? You know, they label bands, indie, alternative.
I guess that's the way I guess I consider myself just the scene, along with the looks of it, but more the feeling. I guess the emo alternative scene, not completely emo hardcore, like, I guess Senses Fail or anything, but just a mix. I like mixing genres in a sense. Like, I'm not talking hip hop and rap. That's too much. I'm talking like subtle changes, and I guess it adds to the sound. Subtle changes. In the case of independent or indie label, I more or less don't care as long as I actually own my own music.
You see too many musicians these days having really bad contracts. The Beatles, for example,
Exactly.
their contract is horrible.